One of the most common challenges that I see is this: people prepare to impress, but sometimes by doing that, they forget to connect. And in today's video, I'll walk you through how to reframe your self introduction so it becomes a clear signal of alignment and not just a list of achievements. I want to begin by speaking about some of the most common mistakes that I see so that you can begin to avoid them. A lot of candidates try to lead with ambition. They say, I'm passionate about innovation, or I've always wanted to work at a company like this. Or they could say, I see this as the next big step in my career. And while there's certainly nothing wrong with this sort of passion, this kind of opening often misses what the interviewer is really trying to figure out. Because from the interviewer's side, it's not about how much you want the job. It's about how well you understand the job and what you bring on day one. It's about whether your experience, your way of working, your values fit within the organization and the team. So the real question they're asking, often silently, is this: does this person fit in this organization? So, what do interviewers really need to hear? Let's break it down into three simple questions. First, can this person do the job? That includes your core responsibilities, your technical ability, evidence of relevant experience. Second, will they work well with the team? That's where communication, emotional intelligence, and professional habits come into play. Third, are they aligned with our values and our style of working? This is where your soft skills and your awareness of the company's priorities really matter. In your self introduction, you don't need to answer all of these questions directly, but you do need to give some signals. And this is key. You're not providing a conclusion, you're offering the interviewer evidence. They need to reach it themselves. So let's talk about structure, and more specifically, how alignment shows through the structure. In Omni Interviews, APMPF method, we guide candidates to structure their self introduction into 5 key elements: appreciation, present, motivation, past, and future. But 3 of them, present, past, and future, those are where alignment is clearly demonstrated. Let's start with the present section. This is the most important moment in your self-introduction. It's your first opportunity to show the interviewer how your current role connects to the position that you're applying for. Now, a lot of candidates will say something like this: I'm currently working as a project manager in the healthcare industry. That's just a job title. Instead, let's take a shift towards relevance. That candidate could say something like this: right now, I lead cross-functional projects for a regional logistics team focused on vendor coordination and team delivery deadlines. Something I noticed was a priority in this position's job description. The second candidate isn't just naming what they do, they're highlighting where it intersects with what the company needs. In Omni Interviews self introduction blueprint workshop, I like to use a Venn diagram metaphor here. One circle is what you do now, and one is what the role requires. The overlap, that shared space, is where your present section should focus. It's not, here's who I am, it's, here's where we already align on day one. Then comes the past section, and this is where a lot of candidates fall into the trap of narrating their resume. Instead, think of your past as an opportunity to explain the logic of your career path. What led you here? What have you built along the way that now supports you in this role? It's not about reciting job titles. It's about showing how each step of your career added a layer of readiness. You could say something like, before that, I worked in vendor relations, which is where I developed the habit of structuring internal processes for better communication. That experience really shaped the way I work now. You're connecting the dots. You're showing the interviewer, this role makes sense based on where I've been. I didn't just apply randomly. I've been building towards this, and that's alignment. And then your self-introductions future section. This is the section where ambition often shows up. That ambition really needs to be anchored in alignment. You don't need to say something like, I'm really passionate about working in a more global role. Instead, you could say something like, what excites me about this opportunity is the chance to apply the systems I've built across a larger team. I'm especially drawn to the way your company invests in cross-regional collaboration. You're not just saying what you want, you're showing how what you've done and what you value aligns with this organization's environment. Let's recap quickly. First, your present shows your current overlap. Your past shows logical progression towards readiness. And your future shows why this opportunity fits with where you're going. That's how to turn a self-introduction into a clear message of alignment without needing to sell yourself. One of the most powerful things that you can do in an interview, say less with intention. Filter your words to be intentional in showing your value. Most candidates try to share too much. They think that more detail equals more clarity, but clarity actually comes from selectivity. Instead of a full narrative, offer a single seed, a small piece of evidence that hints at more. You could say something like this. In my current role, I manage onboarding for 3 regional teams. That experience really pushed me to become more intentional with cross-cultural communication. That's it. Just one idea, but this idea shows the interviewer what you do, why it matters, and that you're thinking at a strategic level. By speaking in this way, you leave room. You create space for the interviewer to lean in and be curious. Here's something that I can't remind candidates enough of. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to show alignment and let the interviewer do the rest. Remember, they've read your resume. They've seen your LinkedIn, and they probably already believe that you're qualified. That's why you've been invited to have an interview. So don't narrate every bullet point of your resume. Don't try to fill the silence. Instead, trust the interviewer's intelligence to see the connections that you bring. Because when you stop trying to impress, you create the space to actually connect. And that's what interviews are about. All right, let's recap. A strong self-introduction doesn't try to prove your worth. It shows where you already fit. It helps the interviewer see you in the role, not just in the room. So start with presence. Focus on relevance. Speak with structure and not pressure. And trust that clear communication beats impressive language absolutely every single time. You don't need perfect English to do this. You need strategy and a calm, focused message that shows how you belong. If this video gave you something to reflect on, let me know and give it a like, and subscribe if you're preparing for interviews and want to speak with more clarity, not just more English. And if you're ready for one-on-one coaching, you can book a time with me using the link below. Wherever you are in your preparation, keep going. Clarity is something that you build, and you're already doing it. I'll see you in the next video.